If you're close to retirement or already there, I want you to hear this because retirees keep saying the same thing. It's not save more, it's not invest more. It's the stuff nobody warns you about until you're actually living it. It's the identity shift, the loss of routine, the housing decisions that feel very emotional, and the health realities that quietly change what retirement actually looks like. So today I'm sharing 10 of the most honest pieces of retirement advice retirees keep saying over and over again. And one of them hits very close to home for me because my own sister is scared of stepping into retirement without a clear vision of what comes next for her. So if you want the best retirement advice, it doesn't come from a spreadsheet, a calculator, or someone who hasn't lived it yet. It comes from people who already have retired themselves, people who have made the transition, who have felt the shift, and who can now look back and say, I wish somebody had told me this actually sooner. Over the years, I've learned a tremendous amount simply by listening from podcasts and conversations with retirees themselves, and from paying close attention to healthcare professionals who focus on healthy aging. As a real estate agent, I also spend a lot of time talking with people who are approaching retirement and trying to imagine what life will look like once work ends. What keeps coming up are the same themes again and again, and most of them have very little to do with finances. They're about lifestyle, they're about identity, they're about their health and housing and purpose and how retirement actually feels once the structure of work disappears. These are the things that don't get talked about enough. And they're often the things people wish they'd considered earlier. So today, I want to talk to you through 10 of the most meaningful pieces of retirement advice retirees themselves consistently share. Number 10, know what kind of retirement lifestyle you actually want. I know it may seem obvious, but it isn't. One of the biggest struggles retirees talk about is not having a clear vision of what retirement is supposed to look like for them. Is it a luxury type retirement, modest, or somewhere in between? Clarity really matters. And without it, retirement can feel overwhelming instead of freeing. I see this personally with my own sister. She's spent decades working full time, and while retirement is getting closer, she doesn't yet have a clear picture of what she wants her days to look like for herself. And that uncertainty creates fear, not because she didn't work hard, and not because when you don't know what you're moving towards, it's hard to feel confident about leaving what you already know and have done for years. Retirees often say that without a clear vision, it's easy to either overspend out of anxiety or underspend out of fear. So knowing how you want to live, not just where, but how, gives retirement direction instead of a lot of doubt. Number 9, use your early retirement years wisely. Retirees consistently say the first few years of retirement are when they felt the healthiest, strongest, and most capable. These years are powerful, and when they pass faster than people actually expect. Many retirees say they delayed travel, hobbies, or meaningful experiences because they assumed they'd get to it later. And what they learned is that energy and mobility aren't guaranteed timelines. That's really, really true. And this isn't about rushing through retirement. It's about recognizing that early years offer a unique window and being intentional with how you use them. Number 8, you need purpose after work ends. Work provides more than income. It provides structure, routine, and identity for people. And my sister knows exactly what time her day starts, where she needs to be, and what's expected of her. Her identity is strongly tied to her work because it takes up so much of her daily life. And when that structure disappears, the question becomes, what now? Retirees talk about this openly. Without the work, days can feel unanchored, and some describe it as moving into a void, suddenly having endless time but no framework for how to actually use all that extra time. So purpose doesn't have to mean staying busy. It means replacing structure with something meaningful. Maybe it's volunteering, learning or movement or creativity or contribution in some form. Retirees who do this intentionally tend to feel far more grounded and fulfilled. Number 7, stop comparing your retirement to anyone else's. Our Western society is built around more. More income, more house, more travel, more stuff. Retirement often asks you to do the opposite: less accumulation, fewer obligations, simple living. That can feel uncomfortable because it goes against what society tends to reward. Retirees often say they struggle at first with questions like, how do I fit in? How do I feel accomplished? How do I measure success now? The happiest retirees redefine retirement on their own terms. They stop chasing what looks good and start focusing on what feels right for them. Comparison really fades when you decide what a success actually means to you personally. Here's number 6. The right home can dramatically improve retirement. Now, I know this may seem very obvious to some. Housing decisions in retirement are deeply emotional, and this part often gets underestimated. For many people, the family home represents decades of memories, effort, and identity attached to that house. Retirees often say they stayed longer than they really should have because leaving really felt like a loss to them. What many discovered later was relief, actually. Less maintenance means less stress. Fewer stairs mean more independence. So a right-sized home often supports the life you're living now, not the life you once needed space for when the kids were still at home. Retirees frequently say the emotional lightness surprised them the most, and I have seen this personally, firsthand. Downsizing wasn't about giving up. It was actually about creating ease in their lifestyle. Number 5, weather matters more than you think. Weather shapes how you live every single day. Retirees often admit they underestimated this. Cold climates can mean ice and snow and isolation, and hot climates can be just as limiting. Some retirees move to escape winter only to find extreme heat kept them indoors just as much as in cold weather. So moderate, manageable weather encourages consistency, like walking, socializing, staying active, all of which support long-term health and happiness. Number 4, pay attention to what's nearby. As we age, proximity really matters more. Retirees often say living close to amenities kept them engaged in life. And when things are nearby, like cafes, walking paths, community centers, friends, it's easier to say yes. Driving long distances becomes less appealing over time, and convenience becomes a form of freedom. Location isn't just about resale value, it's really about daily quality of life. Number 3, healthcare access is critical. As we age, healthcare becomes part of our everyday life, whether we like it or not. Retirees often say they underestimated how important access would be. It's not just about having hospitals nearby, it's about wait times, specialists, and being able to get care when you actually need it. Some retirees say this was one of their biggest regrets when relocating. They hadn't actually thought of those things. Peace of mind comes from knowing help is available without added stress. Here's number 2, friends and family shape our happiness. We can underestimate this enough. One of the biggest fears around retirement is loneliness. Retirees say connection matters more than they ever expected. Whether it's staying close to family, maybe building new friendships, or choosing communities that supportive and that you enjoy interacting with, connection, relationships shape how fulfilling retirement feels. Connection doesn't just happen. It's something you intentionally create. A study actually showed people with more relationships, they lived longer and with less health issues. So connection is really key in retirement. And here's the number 1 thing to think about and acknowledge. Your priorities will change, and health comes first. This is the message retirees repeat most often. Health becomes the foundation for absolutely everything else. Without it, even the best plans feel very limited. Many retirees say they wish they had prioritized movement, balance, and mental health a lot earlier. Retirement isn't just about financial freedom, it's really about the ability to live fully, and that starts with taking care of yourself. If any of these resonated with you, you're absolutely not alone. This advice comes directly from people who have already walked this path ahead of us. Retirement is truly a transition, not just a date on a calendar. And thinking about these things early can make that transition calmer, lighter, and a lot more intentional. And if you found this useful, here's another video you may find helpful with retirement.